Something strange happens when you spend your whole life running. At first you think you are escaping failure, then you realize you are escaping yourself, and before you even understand what is happening, you wake up one day, living a life that was never yours to begin with. That is exactly how I found myself here, wearing my sister's clothes, speaking with her voice, answering to her name, living her life, as if I had always belonged in it, but I did not. And the truth is, I was never supposed to be here, because this story did not start with a lie. It started with two sisters who looked exactly the same, but were never meant to live the same life. We were mirror twins, same face, same voice, same features, same presence, but inside, we were complete opposites. My sister Efeda was calm, focused, and disciplined. She was the kind of person who planned her life carefully and followed through without excuses. The kind of person people trusted naturally. The kind of person who always got things right. And me, I was different. I was not stupid, far from it. I had a mind that absorbed everything. I remembered everything I read, everything I heard, but I lacked structure. I lacked consistency. I lacked the patience to become anything stable. Where she was calm, I was restless. Where she was careful, I was impulsive. Where she was quiet strength, I was loud uncertainty. Growing up, we balanced each other perfectly. If I got us into trouble, she stood beside me. If she was too gentle to defend herself, I spoke for both of us. We were two halves of one life, filling in each other's gaps without even trying. People did not just see us as sisters, they saw us as one unit. And for a long time, that was enough. For a long time, I believed we would always be that way, together, no matter what. But life has a way of separating people, even the ones who seem inseparable. As we grew older, our paths began to split. She chose law, a path that required discipline, focus, and endurance. I chose theater, a path that felt free, expressive, and exciting. At the time, it felt like I was choosing myself. It felt like I was choosing a life without pressure. But what I did not realize was that I was also choosing instability. While she was building something solid, I was chasing something uncertain. Slowly, things began to fall apart for me. School stopped making sense. The structure I avoided became the very thing I needed, but did not have. I got into trouble more often. I made careless decisions, and eventually, everything caught up with me. At home, the disappointments became louder than words. My mother did not have to say it directly. I could see it in the way she looked at me. I could feel it in the silence that followed my mistakes. I became the child that required patience, the child that required fixing, the child that no one knew what to do with anymore. That feeling stayed with me. It grew quietly until it became unbearable. I felt like I did not belong in my own life. I felt like I was constantly being compared to someone I could never become, and instead of facing it, I did what I always did when things got hard. I ran. I told myself I needed a fresh start. I told myself I just needed a different environment. I convinced myself that everything would make sense if I started over somewhere else. So I studied harder than I ever had, just enough to get out. I secured a scholarship and left Nigeria for the UK. I left with big dreams and even bigger expectations. I wanted to prove everyone wrong. I wanted to prove that I was not the failure they thought I was. I wanted to prove that I could become something great if I was just given the chance. But life does not reward escape, it reveals truth. And the truth was, I had not changed. I had only changed location. Things did not work out, influencing did not work, fashion did not work. Every path I tried collapsed under the same pattern. I would start strong, then lose consistency, then lose interest, then lose direction. And slowly, I started losing people too. I stopped answering calls. I stopped replying messages. I deleted my social media. I changed my number. I disconnected from everything that reminded me of who I used to be. And for years, I lived quietly, surviving instead of living, working as a bartender, counting tips, watching life pass me by, while pretending I still had time to figure it all out. 12 years passed like that. 12 years of running, hiding, and trying to fix myself without actually facing anything. And back home, life moved on without me. My sister became everything I was not. A successful lawyer, respected, accomplished, admired. She did not just build a career. She built a life. She took care of our mother. She created stability. She became the person I was always compared to, but never became. And the longer I stayed away, the harder it became to come back. Eventually, I could not stay away anymore. I returned home, not because I had figured things out, but because I had run out of places to hide, and coming back was harder than leaving. Everything reminded me of what I failed to become. Every conversation felt like a silent comparison. Every glance felt like a reminder. But my sister did not see me that way. She welcomed me like nothing had changed. She spoke to me with warmth, not judgment. She believed in me. In a way, I had stopped believing in myself. That night, we went out together, just the two of us. For the first time in years, it felt like we were back to who we used to be, laughing, teasing, existing without weight. It felt light, it felt normal, it felt like maybe I had not lost everything after all, like maybe there was still a version of me that could be okay. And for a moment, I allowed myself to believe that things could still turn around. But life does not announce its turning point. It does not warn you when everything is about to change. It just happens. The accident came suddenly. One moment, we were together, alive, present, laughing, and the next moment, everything was gone. She was gone, and I was still there. I survived, with barely a scratch. And that was the part that destroyed me the most, because it did not make sense, it did not feel fair, it did not feel right. Grief settled in quietly, not as an explosion, but as a constant presence. It lived in my thoughts, in my memories, in the silence that followed everything, and worst of all, in the voice that kept repeating the same thing, over and over again. It should have been you. My mother's words made it worse. She did not shout, she did not fight, but when she finally spoke, it cut deeper than anything else. She said if God wanted one of her daughters, He would not choose me. And in that moment, something inside me broke completely, not loudly, not visibly, but permanently. I could not stay in that reality. I could not live as the one who survived. I could not carry the weight of being the wrong person left behind. So I made a decision that did not make sense, but felt like the only option I had left. I became her. Same face, same voice, same identity, and the world did not question it, because to them, we were always the same anyway. When a major case landed on my desk, I did not have the option to run. A murder case, complex, high stakes, impossible to fake. And for the first time in my life, I was forced to face something I could not escape from. And in the end, I stayed, I fought, and I won. Not just the case, but myself. I finally understood that I was never meant to become her. I was meant to become myself. And this time, I was not running anymore. Some people spend their whole lives running, others spend their whole lives pretending. But the hardest thing you will ever do is face who you really are. Because the truth is, you can't live someone else's life forever. I was never meant to become her. I was meant to become myself. Subscribe for more stories like this and tell me, what would you have done?